Hello there, my lovelies, and welcome to another episode of, well, Sitting Down with Soul Writer with me, Jenna O'Malley, your soul writer. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get this video out, but welcome to another episode of Season 2, and we're just going to keep on rolling through some more information about the characters from my debut series, the Arsinoe Forest Alliance. If you want to find out more about different characters' names, the pronunciation of their names, or even why they have certain code names, stay tuned. Okay, like I said, I've been promising this for you for a while, but I've got a lot going on. We'll talk about all the things going on in an update video I'll be doing, hopefully, after I do the Who is Lee Anyway video that's coming out here right after this one for this series. And of course I have two other podcasts going on that I'll talk about then. But today we're talking about the characters and not only their name pronunciations, but their code names. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that it's kind of working their brains a little bit to kind of memorize which character is which code name. At the beginning of my books, there is a code name index, and I plan to keep that there and update it accordingly. Yes, one character's already gotten an update. Oh my goodness gracious. Be it as it may, let's go ahead and start at the top. We're just going to work alphabetically through the list that is in the front of that book. Abraxas is first. He is Neftiri's younger brother, her Koi, by birth. He's a couple of 100 years younger than she is, and he hates being last born, last place. He's quite a dick. Pardon my French, but his code name is Master Ptolemy, which is hearkening back to the family name of the dynasty from which Arsinoe, their great-grandmother, comes from. She is from the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra's sister, so on and so forth. So it's a hearkening back to that, and as he and another character we'll learn about here very soon agree, the person who came up with these nicknames is not very imaginative. We have one of my favorite characters next. This is Arya. He's the king of the fairies. He's also the elder of the light fairies. He's known as the Wingless King, the Wingless Fae. He is a bard, and he is called Sir Sunshine. He, more often than not, because of a combination of the bard and fae charm, has that super sunny disposition. It's also a bit of irony because at one time he was betrothed to Neftiri, who is a full-blooded vampire. He's the last full-blooded fae to have ties back to one of the sons of Gideon, from which the Fae tribe comes from. So he's absolutely a character in disguise. Don't let him fool you. He has that charm. He has that bardic suave. Dan Avedon, aka Danny Sexbang, if you know your Game Grumps / Ninja Sex Party, you recognize those names. He definitely is my Arya choice through and through when I need song inspiration. So still, I gotta thank Dan for doing that cameo video. If you want to see it, go ahead and check out my social media. It's over there somewhere. Bear, who is one of Arya's Conif, his winged ones, is next. His codename is Abacus. He's a nerd, like a math, science, experimentation nerd. A friend of mine came up with Bear, and we actually named Bear in honor of his father. So thank you very much, Corteth, for sharing Bear with me. He's a joy to write for. He's very earning of the code name Abacus. That's also a hearkening back and tribute to Corteth himself. If you want to check him out, twitch.tv/Corteth, Corteth. Check below. He's a math teacher by day and streamer by night. So definitely go ahead and check him out. He does a story time once in a while. He plays a lot of awesome games. So he's just an absolute joy to follow. Bjorn is our moody lichen who takes over control, one of the POVs in Book 2, bound by Oath and Heart, and his codename is Odysseus. You'll hear about his lady, Rochelle. Her codename is Penelope. They go together. If you know the mythos behind Odysseus and Penelope, you could see where Bjorn is very fitting of that name and where Rochelle has a likeness to that tale as well. Captain 5 is also a member of the Winged Ones. He's one of the 2 unofficial Winged One leaders. His nickname is Hatman. This is in homage to the creator of Captain 5, John Z of Emerald Company Gaming, another Twitch streaming group, twitch.tv/Emerald Company Gaming. I think they have a YouTube as well where they're still archiving things maybe. But the hearkening to him being Hatman is on Friday night, friend streams, John Z and other nights with Tandon, you can actually spend channel points that you earn to get hats, and I've contributed to their hat collection. So it's kind of a hearkening back to that. Cyrus is the elder of the Draco clan currently, and he harkens back to the mythos with Typhon. He's very, very earning of that because he's super wise and he's an aged warrior who knows what he's talking about. Oh my goodness, my troublemaker. Oh, Frey, you troublemaker. Frey, as in short for Godfrey. That's his human name. We find out in book 3, I believe, 2 or 3. And he's a mess. His book is bound by Vengeance in Mind, book 3. And his codename is Turin. His beloved's name, or codename rather, is Keely Kale. So you see the crossover of a mythos couple once more. Kind of fitting with the relationships there. I cannot wait until Suntroa does the art for Frey so that I can finally do my Who is Frey Anyway video before book 3 comes out. I'm so excited. Frey is going to be on the cover. Of course, Lee will as well, kind of mirroring the opposite of book 1 and 2. Book 1 we had Nefertiti and Ian. Book 2 we had, well, Shakespeare as Bjorn, but Bjorn and Rochelle, and then we'll have Lee and Frey in some way on the cover of book 3, and it's going to be so bold and so beautiful. Gorgor, not Gorger, Microsoft Word dictation. Gorgor is another one of the Winged Ones. He's the werewolf anomaly of the group. His codename, therefore, is the Gray Hound. Gorgor was shared with me from a friend of my husband's. They've known each other since like Cub Scout, Boy Scout, something or other Scout days. And they used to play Dungeons and Dragons type games together. Gorgor is an entity that friend did share with me. His book is going to be book 5, believe it or not. Yes, one of the Winged Ones gets their own book. Yes! And you see the relationship who he'll be with starting out as early as book 1, believe it or not. You get that seed planted the first time you meet him and the Winged Ones in that dining hall scene. Go read book 1. You'll know who he's smiling at if you really think about it hard enough. His codename is the Gray Hound. It is because, well, his hound is gray. So not all of the werewolves have this patterned name. A couple of them do. Not all of them. Obviously, Bjorn broke that with Odysseus because he is a werewolf. Gorgor is the Gray Hound, and it kind of echoes another name that we'll get to here in a moment. But coming up next alphabetically, Harumi. Yes, that's a Japanese name. She is the sister belonging to the newest Adikos Neha siblinghood made as of book 1. Her siblings would be, of course, Frey, Ian, and Vovery. We'll get to Ian and Vovery a little bit. You've heard a little bit about them enough if you've hung around here, to be fair. but her code name is Kiku Hime. It does relate to Japanese mythology because, well, that's where she's from, and as somebody will eventually tell her in a future book, she is a princess and needs to own up to it because that's what Hime means. Ian, oh, we were just talking about him. Malice would call him something other than Thunder Britches, and I sadly cannot say it on YouTube, but Ian, formerly known as Christian Sinclair, Baron Christian Sinclair in Book 1, he gets dubbed by the Winged Ones and by one of their creators in real life as Thunder Britches, just as a funny name. Similar situation happened with his beloved's nickname, but a friend I don't talk to, former friend I don't talk to anymore, kind of suggested this name. It was really, really funny. Everyone kept laughing at it every time I was like, should I do this name, or this name? And everyone just kept laughing at Thunder Britches. I said, you know what? It's worth it for the laugh, and I kept it. So at least it was worth it for the laugh. Jira is a new character as of Book 2. She has ties to Neftiri's mom, we find out, and her code name is Sheba. She's from Indian culture, so it's very apropos, but when you find out about her powers, you're like, oh, those make sense too. Those make sense too. Oh, here's the other hound. Covalius is one of my favorite characters, but he's short-lived. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but he's a lot of fun to write for. He was the leader of the Raiders through Book 1 and 2, and he goes by the Vile Hound. Now, keep in mind, I have not given you the werewolves' names yet. I might have to actually make that another list, because, yeah, all the werewolves on this list have their wolfen identity, so that would be Covalius / the Vile Hound, and then they have their wolf identity that has an S starting name, but we'll get into that maybe in another video. Oh, my dear, a true queen among queens, I kid you not. Lee, you are giving me such a hard time right now, my dear Keely Kale, you really are. So this is going to be the other half of the new couple in Book 3, Bound by Vengeance in Mind. She ends up with Frey's POV. I'm not telling you whether or not it's happily ever after. I will tell you there has been a tragedy tag added to their book. I had to officially add that this time because there's a lot going on. Lee, keep in mind, is she preferential pronouns. Spent life as a male, didn't like it. Became full-blown catkin, cat shifter, and embraced her inner true queen self. She's also one of she's also one of Neftiri's 2 familiars. It's Lee and Harumi who have that job, and they're cat shifters. Delira is Neftiri and Abraxas' grandmom. She is the firstborn, fully blown vampiric daughter born to Arsinoe, the first vampiric leader on the original Arsinoe Forest Alliance. You know, it's kind of named for Delira's mom. Her code name is Mama Phoenix. She's the one that doesn't come up with the really interesting popular nicknames. She gave Abraxas and his lover their nicknames, and they both really don't enjoy them. You'll see why here in a minute. Malice is a barrel of laughs. Yes, Malice is pronounced as if you would spell it like M-A-L-I-C-E. Her husband was a poor sailor, could not spell well, and therefore, to honor her husband, her codename is Madam Buchanan, and this is actually honoring my husband's heritage. His family does hail from a sept of Clan Buchanan, and therefore, because of that tie, my husband's family being Highland versus Sinclair family for Ian being Lowlander. You know, we kind of poke fun at each other because they were a little bit on opposite sides of multiple wars. And it makes for a barrel of laughs jokes with her. And I cannot wait until book 5 because she's going to be talking a lot during book 5. Maria is one of the 2 couples, or one of the 2 we get switched out for the alternate couple in book 4. Because I say alternate couple because Neftiri and Ian carry through every book. But Maria is known as Sister Avila. She was a nun. If you look up the name Sister Avila, you'll find out more about that as a real person in history. She gave up her faith, but still, like Bovary, the other Catholic in the group, will say, some habits are worth keeping, like meditative, you know, spiritual health type things. Oh my goodness, you want to talk about a barrel of interesting from the British Isles. We have our Welsh component. Malice, of course, being the Irish one. Rolf, who you really don't find out has a code name. We don't hear much about that from him. He's proper British. And then Ian's up north from Scotland. But Martign is one of the co-unofficial leaders of the Winged Ones. He's also the deepest level bass baritone, as far down as you can go, bard of the group. He's appropriately nicknamed Loxley after the whole connection with the Age of Arthur and so on. And he's an archer. Come on. There's another archer we're going to talk about here very soon, though. Murukawa is a jerk. I cannot wait until we see him go bye-bye in book 5. I mean, I didn't say that. I don't see him past book 5 is really what I should say. That doesn't mean they're dead necessarily. I don't know who's carrying into modern day books 6 through 8. That's all I can say. His codename is Tenryu, of course, relating back to Japanese mythology once more. And then we have the Queen of Queens and Pharaohs, Neftiri. Her codename is Ladybird. I have to thank you, Baka of Emerald Company Gaming and the Tampa Bay Role Players. Yes, check them out on Twitch, both of them. He actually did this as a play on words for a while there when I was streaming about a year plus ago with Emerald Company Gaming doing Jackbox and Among Us. I went by Lady Nerd because essentially that's what I was. I was the lady nerd of the group, right? And he said, you know, are you sure it's not like Lady Nerd, but more like, you know, Lady Bird, like, you know, that movie? And I'm like, oh my God, really? I got the reference, dude. Because I'm the queen of references. But that stuck. And especially when you consider who her grandmother, Delira / Mama Phoenix, really is. Oh, Mama Phoenix, Lady Bird. It made total sense. So the connection for the couple with her and Ian is their codenames were given by people that I know in real life. Rochelle, we've kind of mentioned previously, and of course she does have her entire own video. Who is Rochelle anyway? She goes by Penelope, connecting back to Bjorn, her love interest for book 2 being Odysseus. Shimon, we don't get to see his codename very much. He is Delira's second husband, and it's atypical for or rather mate. It's atypical for vampires, Marina, immortals to take more than one mate. It's kind of a, once you find your soulmate, you better be happy that you're stuck for good or get used to an open relationship kind of deal. But he also, therefore, treats Neftiri and Abraxas like grandkids, kind of. He's kind of like a foster granddad in some ways, but he is also the Alliance's historian, magical smith master, and things of that nature. And again, he goes by Falcon. Very appropriate and, you know, another bird connection. Stachylysa cannot stand her. I love the end of book 2. Anyway, she goes by the Winged Sister. She is the elder of the Dark Fae. At one point, the Fae split into the Seelie and Unseelie courts. That's when you have the split on the representation for the Arsinoe Forest Alliance's council membership, too. She is called the Winged Sister, or probably in the 1600s, let's get real, they would have pronounced it the Winged Sister, and that's because unlike Arya serving opposite to her, she still has her wings, and she does not have a tie back to human royalty. Only 2 or 3 elders have that tie, Neftiri being one, and Arya being another. Abraxas, of course, has it as Neftiri's younger brother, but he's not an elder. Keep that in mind. Oh, here's that other guy who does not like Delira's name choices. This is Tempesh. He is a very manipulative jerk, just like Abraxas, his lover. And Tempesh goes by Lord Vlad. This is my tribute back to Dracula and that Vlad the Impaler as vampire connection. So I had to get super nerdy and just honor that, and this is my nod to it. Tempesh is gorgeous in an aged wine kind of way, but he's such a manipulative... Saint Editor, if you didn't like Bjorn, you should hate Tempesh more, I promise. On the other hand, there's everybody's favorite little changeling Puck. I said that with a P, not an F. Anyway, Toos is so much fun. He, again, is a hearkening to a friend of mine, Yubaka. I've mentioned him previously. His code name starts out as That One. It's a joke. His name is simply That One? Really? Seriously? That's it? This bundle of teenage attitude had something happen, and he gets renamed Adonis. No spoilers, read book 2. I mentioned to you there was another archer, right? He's the other Catholic in the group. Bovary was a member of the Swiss Pontifical Guard at one time as an archer. He's kind of paladin-like these days, too. He therefore goes by Brother Padua. If you want to know the history on that, plug that name into Google, as well as the Catholic history behind it. Yanairena, she is the Catkin elder, and she goes by Bastet. If you know anything about Egyptian mythology, that's a very popular name that crops up again and again and again. She was at one point a familiar to Delira, and then a little bit of one to Delira's daughter / Neftiri's mom, Setina. She is now, of course, the elder of the Catkin during the books at current, and she's just so much fun. I enjoy writing for her so much. I could do it all day. And I believe that is pretty much everybody. I don't think I forgot anyone. We shall see. If you have any other questions, or if you would like me to feature a specific character on an episode of Who is Blank Anyway, please do let me know. Thank you very much for joining me today, my lovelies. Do not forget to check out that update video or that episode of Who is Lee Anyway coming out very soon. Take care, my lovelies. See y'all around. Bye! Take care of yourselves. You deserve it. I mean it.